Good Monday evening to everybody. Welcome back to Carpathian Countryside once again. It is 1st of April, and as you've seen from the thumbnail, we're going to be working in the hay fields today. Also want to get started on our corn planting. Those that followed along last time know that we had to lease this tractor. I want to get the job done so we can get rid of it and move on with getting it returned. Well, what is up, Tukey? Sherry Whalen. We got Cole, is that right? Cole in chat. Brian, how are you doing tonight? Last night, if you missed it, we were over on the secondary channel, FK's Funhouse, doing our American Truck Simulator Convoy Night. Going forward, we're going to be streaming everything that is not Farm Sim over on that channel, and really Farm Sim to this channel exclusively. Explanation FK Funhouse should pop up that link if you want to go over there, check it out, and subscribe. Peter, we are doing good. How are you doing today? I had the day off, but tomorrow it's back to the grind of the 9 to 5. Well, more like 8 to 4:30, but you know the gist, right? You know the gist. All right, this guy's got it. Let's get this puppy started. We're using the cool Ritter merger from the hay and forage pack. We're going to be shifting product to the left at the start, and then we're going to be transitioning to ship product to the right. We're basically going to be merging two passes into a singular windrow. I think this merger is probably one of the hidden gems of the hay and forage pack. If you've never tried it, it's definitely worth trying out. Caleb, I did indeed. I commented after I watched it that I thought it was pretty cool. It looked kind of complex. I don't know how these guys figure out which pieces and parts go into what in order to make a custom ship. I think I would be completely lost. Oh no! Will, what happened? Did you have a big storm? Big problems while you were gone? That does not sound good at all. I believe this is the 9-meter merger, maybe. Oh, that's terrible news. Terrible news. All right, let's shift product now to the right. To the right. So now we're basically merging the first windrow and more product into a singular windrow. That's how we'll do the rest of this field and the one down south. Yeah, by the time you got back, who knows when it happened, right? I mean, gosh, it could have happened a week after you left. And then you were gone for 6 weeks or 8 weeks. Gotta rip all the drywall out. Possibly chop some studs off, right? Jack up the roof, jack up the second floor while you replace everything below the water line. All new floors. You have to rip up the subfloor. Yeah. Terrible job. Terrible job. GoldenEye, what is up? I'll tell you what that does. It makes you want to never go on another trip again. Right? But now I want to stay home just in case, right? Ah, what'd you have for dinner? We had homemade Big Macs. Homemade Big Mac sauce. Diced onions, shredded lettuce, sliced pickles, 2 patties, cheese. The only thing we were missing was the middle bun. Hey, did you get a hold of Dwayne? Dwayne thinks he might have some solutions to your Emerald Coast woes. Oh, that sounds good too. That sounds good too. Some ring noodles. Ring noodles. What are ring noodles? Well, I know he's been playing Emerald Coast a heck of a lot since it came out. So if he's fixed the issues on his side, then yeah, that might just do it on your side too. I was thinking they can't be like spaghetti-o noodles. Rain noodles can't be spaghetti-o noodles, but you never know. Maybe they are. Well, you had contracts, you had traffic, of course, right? A map without traffic is a lonely place. First things first, it's getting the house back in order. No basement, right? I think that's a pretty good big trend with Floridian homes is no basement. Welcome back, everybody, to the channel. Today we are making hay. How many hay bales will we get made? I don't know. We're going to find out. We're going to have 2 fields of hay to work in. Right now we're working on our original field up by the farm. This field has basically fed all of our cows and sheep to this point, with the addition of some hay contracts. Now we have enough grassland to definitely feed a multitude of our animals. Will is having to completely rebuild his house because the interior of his house, it got flooded while he was away out of the country. Came back to a soaking wet and moldy nightmare. We wish him the best of luck. Hope Insurance was very kind to him. You know, all those premiums he pays in. I heard some very disappointing news. I heard insurance companies are not wanting to insure new homeowners in the states of Florida and California because the states are too risky. That is ridiculous. That's what insurance is, in the business of risk. That is why they exist. Yeah, that's where you're like, let me take the names of every executive at the insurance company. And let me just tell you, if you ever need anything, I'll be sure to not give you any assistance, right? Well, yes, insurance is in the business of denying every rightful claim and paying out as little as possible. But in general, right, insurance is in the business of risk. You buy insurance to manage risk. No coverage of any kind for water damage. Let me guess, they had a not responsible for acts of God clause or some silly thing like that. Right? Shift this thing to the right. There we go. Here we are down here in our new field. This is where the thumbnail was taken. Yeah, like, you know, if your house flooded because you did a bad job with the plumbing and a pipe busted, that would be covered. But, you know, given the fact that you live in a hurricane alley, right? No, they would never sell you insurance to cover you for any, you know, likely storm damage. Just like, homes in California, they don't want to insure you for, earthquake damage. No. Lifehawk, what's up? I've already said it. I really like this field. I like it a lot. No tutorial stream. It's just asking how do you make hay. I've got plenty of other tutorials on the channel. I don't need to do any more. At least not until premium drops. When premium drops, we'll have some videos on how to do red beets, parsnips, carrots, because the soil preparations for those crops are going to be different than what you may be expecting. Because we'll now have a new mechanic where we have to ridge the field, and then once the field is ridged, we'll have to plant the field in those ridges. That is a brand new mechanic as compared to our potato process, where the potato planter ridges and plants in one pass. Yeah, you can post a link in here, although I'm not going to be able to click on it. If you want to post it over in the Discord, I'll look at it. Hellhawk, what is up? What is up? I'll be taking bets on how many bales this field is gonna make. I don't know how many bales we're gonna get. First time ever cutting this field. It's definitely more than one. It's definitely more than one, Tookie. Typically with homeowners insurance, it is an annual premium that is paid once a year. For auto insurance, you can pay it annually, biannually, or monthly, depending on how you want to pay for it. Typically, homeowners insurance is bundled in with your mortgage payment, and the bank, the financier, usually covers making that payment until, of course, your house is paid off, and then at that point, the payment is your responsibility. Because, of course, the bank wants to make sure that their investment is insured. Something you want to make sure you do every so often is do a reassessment and make sure that they have your house valued at what it would take to rebuild or replace. We've been in our house for 22 years at this point. We moved in August of 2001. I remember it very, very dearly because just a few weeks after I moved into the house, the tragedies of 9/11 occurred. So I will never really forget when we moved in, because it's going to forever be associated with those horrible events. But as such, up until about probably about 2 months ago, my house was still valued at the 2001 level. So had something happened, right, insurance would have only paid out up to that value for a total loss. So we got reassessed, reevaluated, added our solar panels to the house, added other improvements that we made since then, like our new windows and such. Yeah, if you haven't reassessed your insurance levels, it's probably going to do it every, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years, just to make sure, especially if housing prices significantly change in your area. Urbane, not a problem, not a problem. We are here to hang out, chill, chat about just about anything. Good evening, Will. Good evening. Yeah, we had an interesting thing happen. Probably like around 2007, maybe 2011. It's hard to remember now, but when we had the big housing bubble, our homeowner value was reassessed by the city, of course, and the value jumped like 30% in 1 year. You're like, are you serious? I don't really think I could sell the house for 30% more than I could last year. That was back then, right? But nope, that's what they were saying, because prices were just going crazy in general. And then the bottom dropped out of the market and nobody could sell anything for what everything was valued at as a result. Became not a seller's market but a buyer's market because, well, nobody could sell anything, so everyone was dropping their prices. Tell you what, it's a darn shame, honestly. If I had to buy this house I'm living in right now at today's prices, I would not be able to. I would not be able to afford the monthly payments. Right? And easily people that buy a house of this value now, their monthly payments are double what my monthly payments are as a result. And inflation has far outstripped compensation increases. So everything big ticket items. Cars are far more expensive per dollar, right? Per dollar earned. Houses far more expensive per dollar earned. I've got a guy that works for me, and yeah, he's trying to buy his first house, and it's hard. It's hard to find anything that's worth buying. That's not. It's just an absolute fortune. It's hard to be able to buy anything unless you make 6 figures. Or your combined household income is 6 figures. And around here, that is not a common thing. Combined household income of over 100K. So what do you have? You have people renting longer. Meanwhile, house prices continue to go up. All their money is going towards someone else's equity, not their own equity. Children are living longer with their parents. That's a horror story for anyone with anyone with kids that are you know, college age, high school age, right? For 18 years we've been dreaming of when they're going to move out, and then the reality of they may never be able to move out, dear God, because they'll never be able to afford a place of their own through no wrongdoing of their own either. Yeah, exactly. The idea of buying a fixer-upper is gone now with these flippers. You know, every other show you watch on a home improvement channel, not a home improvement channel, but on a half of the shows you watch on Home and Garden are all about flipping houses. Okay. Lock this thing in, and let's see, how big is this thing? Is 9 meters. Yeah, Home and Garden. The wife likes to watch it, or used to like to watch it when we had TV. But it's like every other show is a flipper show. Well, that's the thing everywhere. That's the thing everywhere. The wife was saying that her brother who's older than she is, okay, and he's got 4 kids. I think a couple of them have graduated high school at this point, but there's a couple that are still in high school. He had to move out of the old family home, and well, he definitely can't buy a house, so he's renting. And of course, you have to pay your first month's rent. You have to pay 1 month deposit that's equivalent to your first month's rent, and you have to pay your last month's rent all up front. So you have to make 3 monthly payments up front. And then he has 2 dogs, Well, there is a dog fee per month, per dog, of like, I don't know, an extra $60, an extra $100 or some junk per dog. When it comes down to it, yeah, he's paying far more than I'm paying for my house payment. And he's basically living in like a townhome duplex type thing. I really should turn lines on. That way we make sure we are skipping rows like we need to. Yeah, it's definitely worth looking at. Irving, it's definitely worth looking at the housing market in the other country. What wages are in the other country, and making that decision if you are in a position where you can make a decision based on what is best for you, living here in the States or living in another country, then by all means do that. Yeah, right. They want to buy your house as is, right? And then that leaves you in a position where you're not able to buy a replacement. All right, we need to narrow this up. Narrow this up because it's just not quite picking it up. There we go. There we go. Yeah, you know, renting is awful. Renting is absolutely awful. I mean, around here and probably most places, property values and such are public information, right? So I can go to a website, I can look up any property in the city and see who owns it, see how much they paid for it, when they bought it, see basically the owning history, who's owned it prior to them, what did they pay for it, right, all the way back to the inception of that property. And it's pretty telling. We had a neighbor buy their house in the 80s, and they paid like half. They paid half of what I paid for my house. They bought their house, I wouldn't say the 80s, probably early 90s, maybe 10 years before I did. They paid half of what I paid. Right? But anyway, Will, I wish you the best of luck in getting everything rebuilt. It's upsetting that Insurance was a complete no-show for you. Thankfully, though, you had some level of equity in the house to pay for these repairs using the value that you had already built up in the house, which, you know, a renter can't do. Yeah, I mean, a flipper would love to have a one-owner house, right? Then in theory, you know, Truth in Lending Act, you would know everything that's broken down with it because, well, you're the only one that's ever been in it. Just a couple mods dropped today. Nothing big, nothing exciting. Be just my luck that since I had the day off, right? No maps dropped today, but then tomorrow we have a couple. Who knows? Let me guess, you had the PC on the floor, right? So where did all the water come in? Was it like coastal flooding? Or did it come in from some other location? Maybe Will can sign up to be a real RoboCop. Oh my gosh, I'm nearly out of fuel. I can't run out of fuel and have Schultz here. He would go and refuel after every 2 or 3 passes. Were you watching last night's stream? The tube that runs the fridge ice maker. What? That's not even storm damage. What? That's not even storm damage. How do they not cover that? But I know all about that. I know all about. We at work. I worked at dining hall. Something happened with the. I don't know if it was the ice maker or if it was a water line running to one of the drink machines. But yeah, we basically got a call that the entire basement of the dining hall was flooded because the dining hall itself was under. Had like 6 inches of water on the floor, on the entirety of the floor. Exactly, Urbane, right? Well, is it ironic, or is it this pitiful state that that the economy is in, and pay rates are in, that someone who works in construction can't even afford to build their own house or pay to have their house built, right, through their own contacts, right? There we go. Alright, let's see here. I can get this part. Done, and then we'll head over the other side. Well, you know, like the UPS strike, the auto workers strike. Problem with the auto workers strike, as Schultz pointed out the other day, is it's not just the auto workers that are affected. Service techs are affected. You know, those service techs that need to service the vehicles that are sold are affected because, well, although, you know, you could argue, I guess, that just because people aren't buying new cars doesn't mean the old cars don't need servicing. But depending on where you are, right, people are maybe more inclined to service their own older vehicles, whereas they have to bring their newer vehicles into the factory or into the dealer for dealer work, warranty work. Well, Tiki, that's because everyone's trying to cut costs. Everyone's trying to be as efficient as possible. Right? The concept of just-in-time inventory. Right? You only have enough in stock to fill the orders that you have or the orders that you anticipate getting in a very near future. And then when you have any disruption in that supply chain that would cause one of those shipments to get delayed, then suddenly you don't have the product you need to use to build your product, because you don't keep a week's worth of product on hand. You don't keep a month's worth of product on hand. You try to keep a day or 2 days worth of product on hand at most. So then, you know, that gets backed up. Manufacturing that requires your products then gets backed up because you can't ship your own product. And then, well, it just trickles up. Just trickles up, right? Yeah, I feel it. I feel it at work. Yeah, we have, we're in the midst of a major building renovation in the building that I'm in. It was built in the 50s. It was renovated in the mid 90s. It's being renovated again now. And we should have been in the building in August, but we're not in the building yet, and we probably won't get back in the building until December because of supply lines with respect to HVAC. Like industrial air conditioners, yeah, rooftop units, the big boy stuff. Apparently it's like a 56-week wait period. Put your order in and you'll get it in about 56 to 60 weeks. So yeah, you want to build something next year, you better have already put the order in. Otherwise, it's 2025. Right. We ordered all the AV stuff in December of last year because we wanted to make sure that it was in stock and the building wasn't delayed opening because we didn't have our own stuff. Well, we don't have to worry about that now. But you know, there was a time and day when it was common for manufacturing to maintain a week's worth of inventory or longer. But not anymore, right? The race to the bottom line. Means that you want to have as little on hand as possible, which then means price volatility to the max. Oh, we are coast to coast. Rez, thank you for the $5 super chat. Thank you very much, sir. You know what? That reminds me. This video is brought to you by Alan McCone and Farm Inc. Thank you for being farm barons. See what type of mess we can make. With this part. That ain't too bad. That's not too bad. Dwayne upgraded from a farm hand to a farm baron. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your continued support of the channel. $1 an hour. I think you've got your money's worth. There we go. They've got another Panama Canal problem? What's going on now? That's what we were saying. Yeah, Delilah, that's exactly what's going on. Right. One side of your factory are semis unloading raw goods. The other side of your factory is trailers being loaded up with finished product. Right? You almost have nothing on hand because you don't receive the product until you literally offload it off the trailer. So then if that load is delayed for any reason, breakdown of the truck, transportation problems on the road, then your manufacturing is slowed down. In theory, it's a great way to operate from a financial standpoint, but it leaves very, very little in the way of margin of error. Oh, drought and not enough water to keep the canal at canal operational levels. So then everything's got to go around the Cape of Good Hope. Is that what you're saying? That's making all the transport take longer. Don't you know, Raz? We can't mix the waters. You can't mix the waters. You got to keep them separated. Oh, we ran out of seed. Good evening, David. Good evening. Tell you what, I was hoping I would have a lot of time today. I could finally officially close out Baldur's Gate 3. My own gameplay of that, but no. That darn game has so much content. I did everything but what I thought was the final boss battle. Well, it turns out the final boss battle is a whole level all to itself. It's like at least 3 hours, 4 hours of final boss fight. Urbane. So to be a farm baron, it's fairly straightforward. Down below the video and above the description, you will find a join button. Now, if you are watching on an Apple product, other than a MacBook or iMac, so if you're watching on an iPhone or iPad, then I'm sorry, the join button probably doesn't appear. But if you're watching on any other device, you should see a green join button. If you click on that button, you'll see the various levels of paid membership. Right, so you can subscribe to the channel for free. You can watch for free. There's no reason to pay unless you want to. And we have several different levels of membership, from our introductory level at 99 cents a month, just a buck. That's our farm hand membership. Then we move up to Farm Boss, which is I think $1.99. $1.99 a month. We have Farm Baron, which I would say is probably the most popular membership. That might be $2.99 a month. And then we have Farm King, which is basically, I love your content so much, I don't need recognition. And I don't know what I set that at. $4.99 maybe? I don't know. But again, you don't need to unless you want to. You do get some perks like emotes, a little icon by your name. If you are a farm baron or higher, then or farm hand or higher, sorry, farm boss or higher, then you'll be in the credits at the end of the video. You also get a shout out, Farm Baron. Shout out, hopefully at least once a month, depending on how many videos I can get done. I haven't done a whole lot of pre-recorded content recently, so there hasn't been a whole lot of early releases, but there's always that potential. We did members-only live streams there for a few months when we were doing our Assetto Corso Competizione series. Lewis, this is single player. There we go. Get this thing refueled. Whoa, I guess we're not going out that door. Right. We're not going out that door. Okay. Let's go get some feed in this thing, and then we'll get some hay collected. Well, I'm always in favor of sit here and vegetate, especially if the game you end up playing doesn't let you join in on our fun. Also, Lewis already said this was single player. The youngest turned 14. Wow. Not so much young anymore. 2 more years, you're just going to be teaching them how to drive. Maybe 1 more year, depending on your local state. Who does that? Who does the teaching how to drive? Raz or the Flossie? Around here you gotta. Interesting in Virginia. In Virginia, all teenagers, I guess probably everyone getting their license for the first time, has to go before a judge, and the judge physically issues them their driver's license. I don't know what they do. I don't know if they think it's supposed to scare people straight or what. But they have to take a paid driver's ed thing. Right? We can teach her how to drive. We can we can do the whole take you around and get you so many hours of driving. But when it comes to being able to actually get your license, they require a certified instructor to sign off on it. So if your high school still has driver's ed program, then that instructor could do it, or you gotta, use a paid service. But I took her around. For many weeks. It was during COVID. Many weeks, and just drove her around. Even taught her how to parallel park, only to find out that it's not on the test. The actual driving test does not involve parallel parking. And the actual driving test isn't done at the DMV like it was when I was growing up. It's actually done by that instructor, who basically signs off saying, yep, they completed all the required skills to my satisfaction. I think it's different per state, right? That's sometimes something that's confusing to those from other countries is how we do things here in the States, where there are federal requirements and then there are state requirements that layer on top of the federal requirements. Then we'll have to come back and let's like clean up the edges. All right, here we go. So we're using a Bale stationary baler. It was the first DLC released in the Year 2 Season Pass. We've been using that baler here on this game save probably since the release of that pack. Then we don't have to worry about transporting bales. We can just bale right into our bale storage building. David, I don't have any word, no. Now, not just a rumor, but there have been confirmed image screenshots that Straw Harvest was in the testing thread last week. So it was in testing at one point in time already. I believe there are 200 mods pending testing with a 10-day wait between, or a 10-day wait on submissions, but oftentimes they will retest ahead of that curve. I think depending on who you are, there's lots of controversy here. Some will say that it's a 10-day wait every submission. Others will say that there have been priority given to more popular modders. We have up to 756 bales made. 756 bales made. So it might be out next week, it might be 2 weeks. At this point, it really depends on how many iterations it needs to go through testing. And then if Creative Mesh wants to set some sort of release date post testing completion, right? I mean, heck, maybe it already completed and they really wanted to release on a specific day. It's always a possibility. So it's not like the that other map that was released this weekend that had like 6 required mods, but 3 of them were not provided download links. They were supposedly included, but were not included. Thankfully, some comments on that page help point to the right location to get those 3. Realism is simply an optional thing, right? Meter windrows fills this thing up fast. Urbane, I will play a little bit offline just to move things along, but oftentimes I don't have a ton of time to play at all, right? Chris, what's up? The blue machine is the Bale stationary baler from the Bale pack. Right? Not only bales hay, straw, grass, it also bales wood chips. It will bale total mixed rations. It will bale sugar beet, cut sugar beet. And then if you are on Hofbergman or use a mod that is included with Hofbergman, that will also bale manure, compost, and clover. Maybe something else. So back in FS17 and FS19 days, I did do some Let's Play style videos, and I tried to release those 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But they take a long time, right? Because my general style is I try not to repeat anything more than once on a recorded Let's Play series for that given map. So let's say we did a video where we mowed the grass, where we made hay, right? And maybe in the video we mowed it, we did a little windrowing after we tedded, we did a little baling, right? Well, I'll try to, we need to back up. I'll try to, next time I need to do hay, I'll try to not show the same thing, right? Which means if I need to do hay, I'm making it almost entirely offline. So it can get to a point where you have to play 6 or 7 hours offline just to get 20 or 30 minutes of content to put on. So with FS22, I basically stopped doing that because it really came down to either I do pre-recorded videos or I do live stream. I can't do both. Can't do both anymore. So we do live streams kind of because, well, it's fun to hang out with you guys. It's more fun to hang out with you guys than to talk to myself on a recorded video. We still do recorded videos with respect to map tours. So our streaming schedule is very, very sensitive to map releases as a result. Because I work a full-time job, right? Father of 2, husband of 1. So it's get home from work, pick the kid up from school, make dinner if the wife is not able to make dinner. I will not do fast farming, Schultz. That is blasphemy. And then hopefully I have time around 7 o'clock to put together a thumbnail and jump on here an hour later. And when we get off the stream, it's off to bed and ready to rock and roll and repeat in the morning. So, Chris, the way it works is you have a hopper, right? We bring the product to the baler as opposed to driving the baler through the field, right? So the hopper then pulls product up into the bale chamber where a bale is made. The bale then comes out of the bale chamber and would unload, but I have it literally going into a bale storage building. Right, so as soon as the bale gets made, it gets deposited into bale storage. And it's just an automation. And now it's going to just continue to make bales as I go collect more product. Oh, well, she has her good days and her bad days. Right, classic story. As of late, she's had more bad days than good. They're trying to find, she's trying to find a happy medium between her pain pills, her nerve pills, and her muscle relaxers that leave her mostly functional, but also comfortable. Problem is, her nerve medicine, well, it makes her very unsteady and fogs her head, right? So it's like constantly in a state of being heavily buzzed, right? So obviously when you're in that state, you can't drive. So she doesn't want to be in that state. She'll have nights where she can't sleep. And then that just completely messes up her sleep schedule, her day-night schedule. Well, her Bane, she has a genetic disorder with her spine that causes the discs in her spine to basically degrade at an accelerated rate. So she has multiple herniated discs. She's had 5 back surgeries in the last 2 years. And when I say back surgeries, I mean surgeries on the actual spine, vertebrae, and discs. That is that field. She's had multiple discs fused, multiple discs replaced with artificial discs. So we're gonna pack this thing up and take it down to the other farm. Yeah, I mean, she was really good for a couple weeks, several weeks. She's not had very good luck. No, it's degenerative. There's no returning back. There's no recovery. There's no fixing it. The only thing that's going to fix it would be a complete spinal fusion, which nobody wants to do. So she was doing really good. Took a trip to South Carolina to see some family, and it's been really rough since. All right, let's fold this thing up. One day at a time. That's all we can do. Right? That's all we can do. There we go. Now we can haul this puppy over to the other farm. With our handy dandy follow me helper, we'll be able to drive this over one trip. So yeah, tonight was rough. Tonight was rough. The youngest had a migraine last night, so she didn't sleep at all because she was worried about him. And daughter's on break, so she's home. And she really wanted to make her some, you know, special meals because she's only home a couple of days a month anymore, right? That's what happens when they go off to college. And she was pushing herself. Could barely stay awake at 5 o'clock. So I just said, you just need to go to bed. I'll finish this up. But she gets to that point, I don't want her in the kitchen. Right? I don't want her in the kitchen next to the stove. I don't want her in the kitchen. It's with knives. It's just, to me, too dangerous. But hopefully tomorrow will be a better day. If not, we got leftover hamburger patties. We have leftover Big Mac sauce that she made. She was able to get that made earlier today. Took the youngest to the doctor. I guess we ran out of. We probably hit traffic. Took the youngest to the doctor. Got him some preventatives. Apparently he's had several headaches at school this year. Where the heck is it? There you are. It's hard to get good help these days. This guy's just packed up, shut it down, and left. He's got pretty good eyesight. He had his eyes checked recently. The kid's reading things on the road all the time. He's the reading fiend. He'll be driving down the road. He's reading signs. He's reading license plates. He's reading bumper stickers. So we held him out of school today. We held him out of school a couple weeks ago. Apparently he's been to the nurse a couple times, 3 or 4 times, maybe more. Usually a couple Advil will clear it up pretty good. But we thought it was just time to put him on a preventative. Daily preventative and see if that helps. Yeah, it's the last thing that I want to put a kid through is put him on some daily dose. But you know. There we go. Alright, that's set up. Ready to rock and roll. I think lots of our workers are union on this game, right? They just up and quit for no apparent reason. But apparently migraines run in her side of the family, so our daughter is on a preventative as well. Wife is. Well, we didn't get very far with that, did we? Like the HUD. Right, the HUD that they had. Oh, wait. There we go. Turn it on. So we have 22 bales in here. Right, we'll see this thing. There, 23. 786. 786. We're not going to get all that bale tonight. That's for sure. I'll try to get this all done before the next live stream. But if we stream tomorrow night, that's not going to happen. tell you what, getting Amazon to deliver to the right house is a miracle. Right, I got house numbers clearly on the front of the house. Everyone on our block has houses numbers clearly on the house. Right, we get a text, we get an email. Your package been delivered, here's a picture. Right, here's a picture of your package on, no, not your porch. No, why should it be my porch? Because, you know, the street address matches the shipping label. Yeah, that would be too easy. No, it's a good thing you take a picture, so now I can go around the neighborhood and play whose porch is this? So usually it's the same house, like 5 houses down. No, it's not like a house that shares the street number, it's off by a digit. No. It's not like it's a guy transposing digits. No. It's a guy that's basically like, okay, I'm just going to deliver all the packages for this street to this porch, and then I'm going to leave. Well, work, right? I work at a college campus. Every college campus basically has one mailing address for its central post office. You know, we don't use every individual building's physical address, right? Everything gets shipped to the campus uses the main mailing address. Amazon comes along. Well, they just randomly deliver a package to just any random outside door. Right? Let's say the campus has 20 buildings. We have more than that, just say 20. Right? You get a package. It could be at any number of these 20 buildings, at any number of the outside doors. It's like, thank you. What it wants me to do is it makes me want to not buy things from Amazon. Right? Some bright executive one day will see comments. Why did you not buy this product from Amazon? Because your shipping is horrible. I'd rather pay 20% more for the product and actually get it delivered correctly than to try to track it down. Yeah, if they only cared, right? Tell you what, Amazon makes most of their business not selling packages, not selling products that you can buy. Amazon makes most of their business selling cloud hosting services. The online Amazon store is a wee drop in the bucket compared to their cloud hosting services profits. That's not how it all started, but that's how it is now. Everybody runs on Amazon web hosting. You got Netflix, you got Hulu. It's almost guaranteed your content's coming from an Amazon data center. No, Ups is probably using Microsoft's cloud hosting. You never know, though. UPS might be just under a shell company. That stuff is so segmented off, though. It's not like Amazon could see what's on those servers anyway. Encrypt the drives and keep the key. Speaking of Diablo, I was talking about this the other day. I saw a YouTube video suggestion. I didn't click on it because I didn't want my feed to suddenly be filled full of Diablo feeds, but it was basically saying that Diablo 4 was like the $1 billion disaster or something. Right? The mega blockbuster that no one plays. Like, is that the general consensus? It was hot for a hot minute, and then it just poof, people moved on. Yeah. That's pretty much hot or not thing, right? You're hot and then you become just inconsequential. So I might get it if it's super discounted on Steam. I never bought it. I was thinking about it. I'm glad I didn't buy it now. But what's all this talk about Twitch becoming a paid service? I don't know, what did it become inconsequential before BG3? I mean, I think both BG3 and Diablo are similar with respect to maybe people who like one will enjoy the other, but I feel that they're different enough to not exactly be a direct one-for-one. If you like one, you'll like the other. One, Diablo is more of a point-and-click RPG, right? Clickety-clickety-click, hack and slash. There is some strategy with BG3. There's also a lot of dynamic story. I think Diablo 4 is just, click your way through the dungeon. So yeah, I mean BG3, you could run through that a good half dozen times and get a different story each time. I watched one guy do his playthrough. Just watched his last video, the finale. Mostly because I don't really care if I have spoilers, right? I watch it so I know what's coming up, so I can kind of help figure out my strategies. And his ending will be drastically different than my ending, because he made one choice that went one way. I made it, well, he made lots of choices, but right at the end he made one choice that went one way. I made a different choice that went a different way. So now it's going to be exciting to see how my ending ends up compared to his ending because of that change. Yeah, I mean, Tuki's made it to Act 3, so he knows about a massive plot twist that happens right before Act 3. And then that massive plot twist just keeps twisting and turning. Nah, I'm not giving nothing away, don't worry. Well, I don't really care about being spoiled. I know others do. So I'm not giving anything away. It's just to tell you there's going to be a massive plot twist. If you see it coming, then you're probably more adept than lots of players. Oh yeah, now that we've got the expansion, right, now they can sell Cyberpunk as a director's cut bundle. They're all union. You could say that, yeah. You could say that too a little bit. The backstory on like the three main bosses is pretty cool, right? When you learn more about them. That's right, Forza Motorsport is releasing on October 10th. We have early access, so we'll be getting it on October 5th. We'll be streaming that this Thursday, October 5th. Right? That's this Thursday. Yep. We'll be streaming it in single player for a little bit. But maybe, I don't know if we're going to be doing Forza Friday in multiplayer the next day or not. We'll have to play it by ear. But definitely the following week, October 13th, will be Forza Friday once again over on the FK Funhouse channel. Explanation FK Funhouse for a link to that. Thursday would be a fire it up and let's see what it looks like. Right now on Steam I can't preload. They don't seem to have preload for Steam. Which isn't that big of a deal. I can leave the machine running on Thursday, or I can just fire it up when I get home Thursday and get it downloaded. It is rather big though, 150 gigs I think. Will those dad jokes. Raz, did Turkey tell you I accidentally romanced Lazelle in our multiplayer? it made for two very awkward nights. Yeah, accidentally. I was just chatting up with her. Next thing you know, she comes calling one night. Hey, if I have to watch it, I'm gonna make you guys also. Yeah. We had a barn. So we do what any good half-orc barbarian does. We went to the barn. and then last Saturday, she comes a calling, but it wasn't to get romantic. She wanted me to kick her tail. She wanted to get her rocks off by basically being beat up. So I threw her around. Literally. Knocked her out, and then that's how she got her rocks off that night. So that'll give you something to look forward to, Raz. Is romanticize the green tattoo chick. I can't, well, we can't really talk Turkey because, well, there's people that haven't gotten that far. Right. Let me just ask, did her hair change? Right. She's got black hair naturally, right? In my playthrough, she became a, I don't know, either white hair or blonde. One of the two. But in the playthrough of the guy I watched, he did something completely different. And she kept her black hair. Oh man, I missed this whole section. So that'll be something our Saturday night crew has to decide here soon. Yeah, Patrick's been, I got it for Patrick, so he's got my old gaming laptop. And as of late, he's been creating characters and he just creates characters, plays with them a little bit in Act 1, and then he creates somebody else. I told his mom, I was like, I think he's playing till it gets hard, and then he restarts with a new character. But, you know, lets him experience each of the different classes and all that. He's been talking about Dark Urge because they have unique dialogues. Yeah, I kind of want to play as a couple of the origin characters. Again, it comes down to time. There's so much I want to do, and there's so little time to do it. I could definitely see sometime between now and the end of the year doing starting a BG3 playthrough on the Funhouse channel. By then, I'll definitely be done single player the first time through. We should be done, or very darn well close to being done in our multiplayer run through, because we're partway through Act 2 now. There's so much going on in Act 3. So many different things you could do, so many different choices you can make. Oh, we might have to bring Gale in. So we have a wizard. Well, I think you would really enjoy it the way you like to do backstories, right? You can make your whole character, give them some kind of interesting backstory. Set up before you even start to play. Kind of set up some general character traits that you try to make sure you maintain, regardless of how the story plays out. Like my kid was telling me, his character hates tieflings. Hates them with a passion. He has to kill any tiefling he comes across. So I told him, like, well, you know, I mean, if you gotta do what you gotta do. That sounds like a horrible idea. You know, chat would try to lead you wrong. They're gonna pick all the decisions that make you that sound like they're the worst. I did lose a certain eyeball. In multiplayer. I kept all my eyes in single player, but in multiplayer I lost a certain eyeball. Well, he did say he wanted to play an evil playthrough. That's all I'm saying. If you say you want to do evil, then you gotta be willing to go that extra mile. Well, you can bring him back. Nature, ZA, welcome. Welcome to the channel. We are just about done though, sadly. just about ready to wrap this show up. We try to go for about 2 hours at a clip, and we are just at that point. Then I'm going to get one more load. I'm going to pick up one more load, and then we're going to call it for a night. In my single player, I mostly played with Karlach, Gale, and Shadowheart. I'm thinking if I do it again, right, I'll probably want to bring in Will and Astarion and Lae'zel more. Those are the three I didn't use too terrible much, which made when I did use them rather awkward because I really wasn't sure how best to use them because I never really learned their skill sets. That's because in my single player, I'm an elf ranger that is deadly with two hand crossbows and is even deadlier with a sword. I fully embraced the worms. I have all the worm powers, and let me just tell you, you don't want to tick him off because he'll just destroy. To some degree, Astarion seems like too easy of a lockpick, right? Like just about any lock is basically just point and click, almost guaranteed assured. When I did have him in my party, it was like plus 12 at a minimum in bonuses. It's like if I rolled anything other than a 1, I was assured to get in. Well, I'll tell you what, there's plenty of people that are doing that. However you roll, it works for anybody, right? I mean, I think you start to question the sanity of the people that wrote it. Right? You get to a point you're like, somebody seriously wrote this dialogue? There was a group of people at some point in time in a conference room having a meeting, running through all the dialogue choices they wanted for a particular scene, and this came up. right? No, I haven't watched the narrator outtakes. How many bales we have? 86. I think we had 22 when we started that field. Now we have 86 and counting. Yes, you were right. More than one. More than one. Yeah, I know that watching the playthrough that I did watch, this guy was heavy in the lore. Right? He knew when there were, you know, not only nods to the lore, but clearly they designed the game around existing lore at lots of points in time. And some of these characters are... I think some of these characters are not new. Right? There's definitely characters you meet later in the game that come from previous exploits. So to some degree, it's you know, long-time fans of the tabletop get an opportunity to play firsthand, right, these characters. Yeah, I know the guy I was watching when Elminster first showed up. He was like, he was having a little starstruck moment. Raphael, good night. In fact, that is a great segue to our own good night. Everybody, we are going to call it an end of the stream after this load. Drop that in there. Watch these bales go depending on what's going on tomorrow, we might be live streaming this map once again. If Giants releases a map over in the Giants Mod Hub, then we will not be live streaming. We'll be working on recording that video and getting that out in a timely manner. We will 100% be streaming over on FK's Funhouse channel on Thursday. Forza Motorsport when that drops. So keep an eye on this channel. Go check out FK's Funhouse. Subscribe over there if you are inclined to watch more of our antics that are not farm sim related. And lo and behold, when Straw Harvest does drop, I'm going to be trying to put out a video on that as well as incorporating it into our gameplay here. Until next time, happy farming.